What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XCN OnyxCoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. I do want to try and talk about the fundamentals. I actually tried for like 40 minutes. I'm not the best. I'm the best whenever I just talk free from my head without looking at notes. I have notes in my notebook here. I literally spent some time doing that. I did some research to get my notes, my thoughts together. I'm very aware of a lot of the fundamentals with XCN, but for some reason, whenever I've been aware since before today, right? It's not bad to refresh your mind and your memory on some things if you're going to talk about the fundamentals. And I want to talk about the fundamentals, but I literally spent an hour trying to do it earlier, and I don't think I'm that good at reading off a script, you guys. I don't think it's for me. So I'm just gonna try to freeform it. Yes, even with just like notes that I have jotted down, I'm just not that good at it. I'm better at just like talking off the top of my head. I don't feel genuine if I do it any other way. It has to just come freely. So I'm gonna try and talk about fundamentals, but first let's talk about technical analysis so I can just ease into it. Okay, we'll do that, and the fundamentals will be saved for the end. Hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it. It's not going to be like super in-depth fundamentals like you get with some of these YouTubers, right? But I'm just going to give you my thoughts on the fundamentals, okay? We're at about a 1 cent price now, just below 1 cent. And this is right in the area that we were kind of looking for, where we were expecting, but a little bit higher. We're looking for it to go lower, absolutely, from a low to a high here. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we weren't hoping for some kind of double bottom. We were looking for the high heel pattern here. It didn't happen, but whatever. Here we are, a little bit lower. High to low, we haven't hit the 1272. This is normally the area that you find support. Sometimes, especially in a small, this is a pretty small fib. It's not that big, not that significant. In a small fib like this, if you reach for the 1272 but can't quite get there, that could imply front running, right? And if you're like in the middle here, okay, so what? You might have more to go. But when you're this close to it, you didn't complete the thought. I mean, we still have a whole day left, 21 hours left. Who knows? We absolutely still can move down. But this could get us set up for some kind of move that would take us back up to 1 cent. And right now, the goal, at least in my opinion, the goal that we should have is to get back around 1.2 cents. If we can get to 1.2 cents, then a drop all the way down to the bottom of this range here, the land of the rising sun, that'd be a 30% drop. That'd put us in really good shape to not see any kind of funkiness that takes us too much lower than the original areas we were expecting. If it wasn't for Bitcoin, I would have no problem calling for this to be the low at 208434. But looking at Bitcoin and how much further it has to drop, just comparing it to OnyxCoin here, Bitcoin drops 15%. I can't see OnyxCoin dropping less than 14%. Hell, if Bitcoin dropped 10%, I can't see OnyxCoin dropping 14%. I would assume it moves more, so the only way to really rectify that is if we see some kind of bounce, or even less likely, OnyxCoin moves down tit for tat with Bitcoin on this next drop, and that could happen. All I'm trying to say, though, is this could be some kind of front running. Maybe we do move up. It's very common when you find resistance on the 1272 to move back to your 786, and sometimes you do move all the way back to your golden ratio. Now, moving to this is nice, okay? Closing above it is even nicer. If we could close above 1.2 cents, you guys, if we could close a day above 1.2 cents, that could change the tide, man. That could turn things. That we might have found our low if that happens, okay? Because generally speaking, when you reach for your extensions and then you come back up and you close above your golden ratio, generally, not always, that tends to validate the low and that you continue to go higher. Really, the last key of validation point would be the 236, okay? That would be nice as well. And then, of course, a more macro, or not even that macro really, but just a more significant area would be about 1.8, 1.9 cents closing above there as well. We do all those things. It's phenomenal. But until then, we are looking to the downside, and I think rightly so. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, I feel like I was about to say something that's rather important. I can't remember what it was. If I got distracted, I'm so sorry. If there was something that I was going to say. But let's just continue this, okay? Let's just do this. I feel like there was a thought that I left incomplete. Oof. Really hope I didn't do that, because that sucks. Sometimes they're good thoughts, and good thoughts are the ones that get away, man. That could be taken in a couple different definitions, can't it? If we're looking at this here, finding resistance, continuing to find resistance, resistance, resistance. Oh, hey, we're finding support. That's nice. It would make sense, in my opinion, to go down to this area to find our final area of resistance. If we're looking at this relative low to relative high, our last kind of significant pivot here, the golden ratio comes in line right precisely with this area on March 31st. Could we go lower? Sure. Maybe we do go lower. April 3rd, April 2nd, we go down to 0.07676. Sure. Somewhere in this area could happen. But I don't know if we do go that low. I'm kind of curious to see. Did we get a bullish? Is that a bullish engulfing candle? Hold on now. No, it's not. Okay, no, it's not. Still a little bit of a reversal, but nothing too crazy. I feel like we were starting to diverge away from this line, and we've stopped diverging away from it. We've actually started coming back to it. So now with this look, it's pretty obvious, at least in my opinion, that we will come down here. We could be doing something which is called a partial decline, but with trends, it's not so much a common thing. That's more of what you see in like a broadening top, broadening bottom pattern. But a partial decline is where you reach for a trend line that you should find support off of, but instead of finding support, you find support somewhere above it, leaving anybody who is bearish and anticipating they get to buy down these areas left behind, and then they're forced to buy at higher prices, and that just generates higher and faster growth, right? Something like that. Oh, maybe the thought I was going to complete had something to do with fundamentals, I feel like, actually, but whatever. Anyways, I do think we're going lower. And then afterwards, we have a lot higher to go, you guys. I know that there's a lot of people, and the thing is, guys, I really am going to miss a lot of these haters, a lot of these trolls. You guys have been fun. It's been a good time, but I know exactly how this goes, right? Whenever the sun comes out, what do the haters do? What do the bears do? What do the trolls do? They go into their caves, right? That's where they belong. That's where they live. They're cave dwellers, right? And that whenever the light comes out, that's where they're going to go. This is one thing that I did want to talk about, and actually I've forgotten to talk about this in another video. I want to compare this to the others chart, okay? XCN versus others. And this isn't completely convincing. This doesn't validate anything that I'm saying, but it's pretty compelling, I would think, at least, right? If we're looking at this on a weekly time frame, imagine this was any chart in the world and had nothing to do with XCN at all. Would you be bullish on this chart? Would you think that it's found its low and that it's going higher? What do you think? I don't think so. What do you think? Tell me, what do you think? Does this look like a bullish chart or a bearish chart? I want to know. Looks like a pretty damn bearish chart. In fact, it's so bearish that the only area you would go to find support if you were to recover at all would be at the floor here. It looks like you're on a one-stop track to the floor. You've got a very clear bull flag there. It's beautiful. What this chart is it's the others chart, the top 125 coins, excluding the top 10 coins, versus XCN USD. And for a while, XCN, the average altcoin, was outperforming XCN. For a while, XCN performed about the same as the average altcoin. And then for a good bit, XCN dominated the average altcoin. When this chart goes down, that's bullish for XCN. That means it's outperforming, right? Others versus XCN. Others, the top 125, excluding the top 10 coins. Others, the altcoin index, the average altcoin, is outperforming XCN. XCN's outperforming the average altcoin, right? That makes sense. I want to just ask you, what kind of perspective does this chart give you? Is it a bullish perspective or a bearish perspective? It's clear as day. It's clear as day is what's going to happen. And this is part of what I mean whenever I say I'm going to miss you guys, because I know how this goes, man. You're a lot of fun at the lows. You're even more fun as we go lower. But then once we pump, man, you're just nowhere to be found. So please, all of you out there, please don't go away. Please come back. We like the it heads. Okay, I like talking smack with you guys. It's fun. Don't go away. Don't feel scared. It's okay to be wrong. Okay, believe me, it's okay to be wrong. But don't be scared. Right? It's okay. We can still be friends. But in time, this thing is going to recover. It's going to be very phenomenal. I'm droning on at this point. We talked about the fundamentals, or not the fundamentals, the technicals. Let's talk about the fundamentals. Okay, XCN. For those of you who are unaware, and maybe I can just do this right now. I'm gonna try here. Okay, and if I feel like I'm just droning on or rambling, I'm just probably gonna end it. Okay, I'll end it. And maybe I'll try again another day. But XCN, OnyxCoin, for those of you who are unaware, is a decentralized finance token. It's a DeFi token. The reason I don't talk about fundamentals all the time is because fundamentals don't change daily. Technical analysis, price action, that changes every single day, every single minute, in fact. That's why we talk about it daily. Fundamentals, I've talked about this plenty of times. With OnyxCoin, there are a lot of tokens that are still locked, I think, XCN here. And not like a crazy amount, but a decent bit. Let's see here. Volume, 9%. Yeah, a little bit on the pickup here. Circulating supply is 32 billion. Max supply is 48 billion. Fully diluted valuations, 472 million. Current market cap is 318 million. There are a lot of tokens. Oops, I didn't know that I got rid of that. There are a lot of tokens that still need to be unlocked, and they will continue to be unlocked. And to my knowledge, it's going to be every single month, essentially, right? The tokenomics of XCN. These tokens will inevitably unlock. There's a fixed cap supply. There will never be more than what it says there is. It's not an unlimited inflationary thing, right? but there are more tokens coming out every single month. And to my knowledge, even I think that the rate of inflation over a year period from now would be higher than the dollar right now, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm very positive it would be, but if it's moving up more, so what? Who cares, right? XCN, beyond the tokenomics, beyond that, right? So there's just a little taste of what that is. I don't believe that even with the inflation rate that's going to hurt the fundamentals or the ability for this thing to growth, right? It has really good fundamentals. It's at a steady rate. The amount of inflation that we get once a month is like less than 1% of the circulating supply, and the rate of inflation that comes in per month will only go down. It's a consistent amount. And I think there are some more unlocks that happen here or there, but it's a very consistent amount. And as more tokens get unlocked, as there are more tokens circulating in the system, the rate of inflation is actually deflationary. It's an inflationary rate, or it's an inflationary amount, but it's a deflationary rate of inflation. Does that make sense? The rate goes down as time goes on. With XCN, it's a DeFi token. It's a decentralized finance token. And DeFi, simply put, is a means to an ends of the traditional finance system, of the banking system. Coins like OnyxCoin, coins like XCN, they're going to put banks out of business or make them change their business plans entirely. It's going to happen. Think Netflix to movie theaters, right? Think Redbox to Blockbuster, right? That's kind of the same thing, right? Because before, you'd have to go to Blockbuster, you'd have to check out, you'd have to see if your movie was still there, all this kind of stuff. You have to wait in line, you have to get dressed up, go during business hours. When Netflix came about, Netflix, you can do it from your home. You can look up a movie whenever you want. You have the power. You can do it whenever you want. You got to pay your... Oh, that's a great face to freeze on, bro. I was like, I can't even do that. You can do whatever you want. It's all digital. You can do it from your home, right? Blockbuster, banks are in comparison to Netflix, DeFi. And OnyxCoin, it's not leading the pack in DeFi, but it has the capabilities to do so. Out of a lot of DeFi projects, I think Aave is really good. I think YFI is a good one too, honestly. Compound is a good one. And I think OnyxCoin really got my attention when I was reading the white paper. It seems a bit more decentralized. It's still centralized. All these DeFi projects are centralized, you guys. It's decentralized finance, and it's centralized though, you know what I mean? But maybe we'll get a decentralized finance protocol that's actually true to DeFi in a second, but we don't have it yet. They're all, and it makes sense. If you've got the on ramps that are going to replace the banks or at least compete with the banks, there's going to be centralized entities behind them driving these forces, right? Getting away from the stuff. This is what I mean by I like to ramble, you guys. So what do I mean by it's going to change the model of banks or put them out of business? I don't think banks are going to go away in my lifetime or your lifetime or even your great grandkids' lifetime, but they will have to change their model, and there will be a lot less banks, I think, because they just won't be able to keep up. Banks, the whole purpose of banks is to finance debt, to give to sell debt, to give you loaned money so that you pay them back at an interest, right? And what's crazy is, not so crazy, the money that they're giving you as a loan is your money. You go to a bank, if you deposit $100,000, then you need a $50,000 loan. They're going to loan you someone else's money, not your, or maybe even back your money, maybe even again someone else's money. They fractionally reserve it. It's not their money to begin with. Do you make interest? Do you get paid for your money being lended out? You can bet that every single dollar that you deposit in that bank is being loaned to somebody else somewhere. It's going somewhere else. It's being transferred in a form of debt, and you have no part of it. You're getting paid what, 1% interest a year, less than that, however much it is. It's insignificant, right? With OnyxCoin, you can actually lend your money. Okay, you can lend it. You can lend it out. I believe if it's XCN or any Ethereum based coin, like an ERC20 or an is it 721, 751, 761, I forget what it is, E1155s, I think, whatever Ethereum based tokens there are, or I think most of them at least, you can literally lend that token out and make money. You can do what banks can do, but you can do that all from your home. If you want to borrow, guess what you don't need to do? Just like Blockbuster, you don't need to get dressed up. You don't need to shower. You don't need to brush your teeth. You don't need to make an appointment. Except with Blockbuster, I don't know if you guys heard that, but that's my dot. Hold on, that's I think she's just brushing her teeth and she's just throwing a fit. But anyways, she doesn't normally. She's pretty good about brushing her teeth. But anyways, with Blockbuster you didn't need to make an appointment, so that's kind of the point is moot. But with banks you have to make an appointment. You have to get approved, and if you want a pretty decent loan, hold on, guys. I'm gonna go help my wife. Hey, this is what I mean, guys. It's hard. It's hard to talk about this sometimes. That doesn't normally happen, but whatever. If you hear her crying, just understand she's okay. She just, for whatever reason, decided to throw a fit about having her teeth brushed today. Enough of my personal stuff. Where was I? You have to get an appointment. You have to get an appointment to to get a loan. I don't know if you've ever gotten a loan before, but unless it's a personal loan, even if it is a personal loan, you still have to get an appointment. But to get a loan, you also have to put up collateral. Okay, OnyxCoin, DeFi projects like OnyxCoin, they're going to get rid of banks because, and not get rid of banks, but they're going to make them restructure because you will not need, or you will have to put up collateral for OnyxCoin to get a loan in whatever form, ERC20 tokens, Ethereum tokens, OnyxCoin, whatever. You will also have to put up collateral through the bank, okay? But you have to go during the bank hours. You have to go whenever it's not a holiday. You have to get dressed if you want to look the part. If you're going to get a big loan, you should probably dress professionally, right? So you're taken seriously. Even if not, you can dress however you want. If you're about it and you talk right, you know what you're doing, who cares, whatever. But still, it's kind of like a business transaction. You should probably, dress the part. You don't need to do that. You can be in your underwear. You can be butt-ass naked. Who cares? In your living room, getting a loan through OnyxCoin. You can stake with OnyxCoin, right? And that's essentially the same thing as lending, essentially. I mean, that's what you're doing. By the way, guys, anytime you stake your coins, you're basically lending back to the protocol. If anybody hasn't pieced that together, that's exactly why they pay you. That's why you get an APY. It's not because you're stabilizing the ecosystem. It's because you're lending them money. Be aware of that. That's exactly what you're doing. Okay, that's why there's been some issues with staking in the past. But if people are mismanaging money, but I digress. With a bank, you have to get a credit score. You have to have a good credit score. With OnyxCoin, you don't need a credit score. With a bank, the interest rates can be pretty high at times. OnyxCoin has a bit like fluctuating interest rates. It's not the same as like traditional finance, but I think in time these kind of interest rates will be better than what banks can offer, and so competitive in fact that banks themselves will have to bring out negative interest rates in order to compete with DeFi. That's the only way, because banks are, and the only other thing that they'll have that DeFi won't be able to have, I think, is personal loans, where you don't need collateral. That's small amounts of loans, right? That's the one thing I think banks will always have if they remain solvent is personal loans, versus like actual loans, bigger loans like that. With OnyxCoin, XCN, there is utility. You have utility in the sense of lending, in the sense of staking, in the sense of borrowing, in the sense of governance, voting, stuff like that, right? You have the ability to also, I mean, just I was going to say the ability to invest and just make money, obviously. I don't know too much about like the formulas and the functions. The what is it that I'm trying? Is it a function? The the math behind what drives these protocols that generate. I don't know the equations that like off the top of my head. You can look them up if you want to. That help stabilize the interest rates and stuff like that. If you want to look that up, you can. But this is, you guys, this is where I get kind of lost in the translation here a little bit. But getting back, and also that didn't help with my daughter there. Getting back to what I'm trying to say here is that OnyxCoin is a DeFi project. It is a more decentralized DeFi project than I think a lot of these DeFi projects are, but it's still centralized. It's got good tokenomics, really good tokenomics. It's a steady rate of inflation, and it's going to cap out at some point. It will no longer be inflationary. Here's another thing I was trying to talk about. I got distracted. We are implementing a burn. There's discussions of implementing a burn. However it's going to look. There's some people that theorize that there have been tokens that have been burned already, but some people are theorizing that we're going to implement a burn that's something on the likes of like EIP 1559 or whatever it was with Ethereum. I think that's the right one. I forget what it's called, what the upgrade was called, the update was called, but where basically you burn the fees, the transaction fees or stuff like that, or a portion of the fees every time that you do a transaction. And so just over time, OnyxCoin, yes, it's inflationary, and the rate of deflation is going to be small. But even whenever at some point, and in the future, in the very near future, it will have a inflationary model that is no longer existent. It's just stationary, which is also introduced with the deflationary model. If you're basing that versus the US dollar, all you have to do is remain relevant, and you're guaranteed to gain in price year after year after year. If the dollar's inflationary year after year, which it is, even at a 1% rate or a 5% rate, whatever it is, 8% sometimes, and you have a stationary product, let alone a deflationary product or asset, you're going to gain value over time. It's inevitable, right? We're partnered with very big, very big crypto companies like Chain.com, Justin Sun, and HTX Global are on board, right? I know that they're not technically partners, but I think they're partnered up, man. I think there's something in the works there, but time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I know a lot of people think it's like hush money that that came out with OnyxCoin and Justin Sun whenever they called him for being a scam because of whatever mishap happened in the beginning of OnyxCoin's life. But I don't think that's what happened, man. If it was hush money, he would have gotten the money already. He wouldn't have had OnyxCoin XCN, this multi-billionaire guy who literally took back all his accusations that he was trying to sue or report them to the SEC. He wouldn't take a 2-year lock period on the amount of coins that he got if he didn't see this thing being relevant, right? To this thing having some kind of value. It's a 2-year lock period. It's not like they just paid him outright. They gave him this money as like a kind of partnership deal. What's in Justin Sun's best interest, if he cares about this money at all from OnyxCoin that he's been given, these tokens, is that OnyxCoin succeeds and that it does well. And Justin Sun has a lot of hype and a lot of infamy and a lot of I would say productiveness in this space. He's I don't want to say the bad boy of crypto. I don't think he is. I think he's entertaining. I think that he's a smart individual, and I think that he's talented, right? But people don't like him for various reasons, and people like him for various reasons. But I'm not going to say one way or another if I like him or I don't like him. But I just don't think that he's dumb. I definitely don't think that he's dumb. And I think that this 2-year lock period, if anything, is a sign of trust or a sign of acknowledgement that OnyxCoin is here to stay. And that it is some kind of partnership. I would think that Justin Sun, if he wants those tokens to get unlocked in his favor at a price that's high, it would be in his best interest to have or to help OnyxCoin and OnyxDAO grow. And Chain.com, OnyxDAO, they're doing great things. There's a lot of different things that are being implemented all the time. Goliath mainnet and all that stuff they're working on. They're doing new things all the time. And I'm just vomiting of the mouth at this point because I have nothing else to say. But I really do think that OnyxCoin's protocol is a very strong competitor in the DeFi space. I don't think that this pump that we had, was just a one-off. And I'm sorry if it's not the most well put together at the end of this here. I got a little bit distracted, and also I'm just trying to go off the top of my head. I don't really have the Spark notes in front of me, but I feel like I do better off the top of my head, anyways. This kind of stuff, a lot of people, a lot of the bears, a lot of the haters, they're rationalizing it in the sense of, what happened here was a fluke. This is just a one-off. It's a pump and dump. But that, I hear you, right? That happens all the time in the crypto space. We've seen plenty of projects that do this and then do this. But that's the thing. It didn't do this, did it? It's slowly consolidated down. This is a good thing, right? Somebody told me, draw the horizontal line at the bottom to make it obvious that this is a flag. There you go. There it is. It's a flag, right? It's kind of it's a funny flag with that there, but yeah, it is a flag. And I don't know, someone said if it goes halfway through the flagpole, that means that it's invalidated. I don't think that's true. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think that's true. I know that that's kind of like a rule of thumb, but if that were the case, then we have invalidated this pattern. But if we invalidated the pattern to the downside, we would have broken through, right? Invalid patterns or busted patterns, they break out, to the downside. We haven't done that. We're just consolidating very consistently. And how do you know that it's over halfway through? If you take a low to a high, the 0.5 literally is halfway through this move. It quite literally is. So no, if that is a rule, then yes, we have invalidated this pattern, but I don't think that we have. I don't think that that's the case at all. I do believe that this is a very phenomenal looking bull flag. I think that this is a phenomenal looking bear flag. And the XCN BTC chart is also a phenomenal looking bear flag as well. There's a lot of bullish stuff to come. This was not a fluke. And before Justin Sun was ever involved, which was actually like half of this move here, this thing was already pumping for good reason, right, guys? This thing I think is going to shake up the DeFi space. I really think we have a winner here. I think this is a coin, as I said a long time ago, XCN 1000x potential. 1000x potential, May 6, 2024. I wasn't saying that for no reason. I don't say 1000x is just every coin, right? There are probably a handful of coins that I've acknowledged can do that. Absolutely. And they could. It can happen. The only one that seems like it has a decent chance is this one, from at least from the lows that it had back in May here. And that doesn't mean that it will, but there's a reason why I made this, right? And there's you can find your own reasons if you do your own research. I encourage everybody to do their own research. Read the white paper, go on the website, look up whatever you can find, and just like deep dive into it yourself, because I'm not the best at explaining the fundamentals, but there's a lot of fundamental value driving this thing, and it's got a lot more going for it, I think, than most cryptos do in this cycle. Beyond everything, the volume has been awesome, even throughout these boring times, even throughout these uncertain times. Yes, the volume's picking up a little bit to the downside, but it's not that much. We're not getting crazy volume dropping off. We're not seeing this kind of exit strategy, backdoor rug pull stuff that you see with Ponzi schemes. This is different. And the sooner that people start to realize that, the sooner that everybody can get on board and make money. This thing has a lot of growth to go. And I very much do believe from a low to a high, we're not stopping until we see 20 cents and beyond, genuinely. And I also have a theory that XCN is not the only one that's going to do well on this next pump. I think XCN will grab a lot of attention, and that could possibly help pump DeFi. Aave, Compound, YFI, is CRV a DeFi protocol? I can't remember. Curve Finance. Any and all DeFi projects I think are going to do very well. I think this cycle, there's going to be three things that really do well this cycle. Okay, beyond memes. Memes have killed it this cycle, but they're not like last cycle, right? Dogecoin and Shiba, they killed it all cycle, or they were like the prominent figures. A lot of the memes this cycle, they kind of die off as soon as they're born, you know what I mean? But the three things that I think are going to do well this cycle, one that I've had a theory on for a very long time, one is OG coins. There's going to be some OG coins that do really, really well this cycle, like multi-cycle consolidation coins that are going to break out and do really well this cycle, and they already have. There's some that are already doing really well. I think some OG coins are going to really do well. AI coins are going to do well. I wasn't on board with that at first, but AI, gaming, we can throw that kind of in the same mix, I guess. But maybe AI and gaming are their own different things. In which case, I'd have four. AI and gaming will probably do well, and then the fourth one is DeFi. I think DeFi is going to do very, very well. And it makes the utmost sense that DeFi would do well. Why? This is the financial, institutional, invested cycle right now. This is that cycle where the institutions come into play. It would make sense that DeFi, the evolution of finance, one of the most practical uses for cryptocurrency, it would make sense that it makes headway this cycle. Okay. I don't know if I have anything else that I want to say. I did a lot of talking, man. I don't know how much of it made sense. I don't know how much of it was rambling or backtracking or any of that, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, this is why I normally just stick to the charts. Okay, bye-bye.